Before we get into the Nazi comparisons and all that fun stuff, I just want to give a big shout out to good old Neil up there on the Supreme Court. You know, my man down here. I've been talking a lot about the Supreme Court, well, relatively to all the other stuff that I normally talk about, but they've got a little spotlight there for a minute. But big ups to Big Neil there, because as the title implies, and if you guys were following along with the different vaccine mandate cases that hit the Supreme Court's desk not that long ago, all of the justices were there. All 8 of them were in chambers. All 9 of them were on the conference, but one was away. Okay, and it wasn't anybody who was, really stuck out or anything, or anybody else who would have unique opinions that wouldn't be held and expounded as stupidly as people like a stupid Breyer or fat-necked Kagan. But you had Sotomayor video conferencing in. That's like, why the fuck couldn't you just roll your ass into the fucking chambers? But I guess she had a reason. It's because Neil refuses to wear a mask. Yep, it's kind of fucking hilarious if you want my opinion on the situation. It's just very funny. He was asked, apparently, okay, and we're just going to read just a little bit of this, but Supreme Court Justice Neil Gorsuch has refused to wear a mask in court despite pleas from Chief Justice John Roberts, according to a report. And all of this is, this secondhand information, okay? But yeah, apparently is Sotomayor, she's so scared of everybody else. And realistically, it's like, okay, you go down here and you hear what one of the clerks for Gorsuch has to say. Mike Davis, Gorsuch, former law clerk, responded on Twitter, okay, every justice is vaccinated and boosted. So what the fuck is she scared about? Okay, vaccines should work, right? Apparently that's what he goes on to say there. I'll leave it there, because if I say it, especially this early in the video, YouTube would just have this one gone in an instant. But yeah, no, if everybody's all jabbed 1, 2, 3, maybe even 4 times at this point, and she was operating under the assumption that if you're all jabbed up, you can't spread it. So what the fuck is what's the problem, huh? If Neil doesn't want to wear a mask and he's just like, no fam, I'm good, why the fuck is this an issue? Why can't you just put on your big girl pants? But then at the same time, it's like, wow, she looks actually pretty decent for 67, okay? All things considered, it's like, I wouldn't have thought that she was that old. Like, I thought, okay, like, I've been taking a look at these different crazy motherfuckers on the Supreme Court lately, and it's like, oh, okay. I thought, and I could have swore Gorsuch was, for some reason, like, 71 stuck out in my head, and that's like, no, that's actually not the case at all. He's 54? And I don't know what godvoter.org is, but I think they're kind of slightly retarded. The fact that they have Gorsuch as a swing vote, it's like, if you take a look at his voting record, he's right up there with Clarence Thomas being a conservative. But they have Kavanaugh as a hard conservative, and it's like, oh, okay, cool. And Kavanaugh's 2 years older than Gorsuch? Really? Huh. But yeah, I just found that to be absolutely hilarious. It doesn't really have any bearing on the rest of the stories, but I wanted to share that with somebody, okay? And now, considering, because, well, all things considered, we're on the internet, so ergo, bring in the comparisons to the Nazis, okay? Bring in the comparisons to Hitler, right? Obviously, Godwin's Law has been fully enacted on this one, and I made mention to this one slightly, I forget at the end of which video yesterday, but yeah, we were talking about how Nikki Freid, who is the agricultural commissioner in Florida, okay, and she apparently is the only Democratic gubernatorial candidate running at the end of the year for the midterms against Ron DeSantis. It's gonna be fucking hilarious. She was the one who was out there, and she said, oh yeah, Ron DeSantis is a lot like Hitler, okay? And what is she doing? Is she backing down on this one? Is anybody calling her bluff on this? Is anybody calling for her job? No, she's just doubling down on this one, because we're going to have a comparison between what you get when you have a Republican, okay, or somebody who's even just a fucking centrist, make a comparison to the Nazis based on an elected, or rather an appointed public figure, okay? You make that comparison on one side of the aisle as opposed to the other, the different type of treatment you get. So I said we might dabble into this one, and unfortunately, yeah, there was another story that popped up that made this rather relevant. So let's just refresh everybody's memories, or rather just go back in and expound on it a bit, shall we? DeSantis' Democratic rival says Florida governor is like Hitler in a lot of ways and refuses to back down when hit with blowback. No, it's everybody's just, there's not really much blowback. Everybody's just like, who's Nikki Freid? Nikki Freid? Nikki what? One of Florida Governor Ron DeSantis' Democratic rivals compared the Republican to Hitler in a lot of ways. Like what exactly? Florida's agricultural commissioner, Nikki Freid, who is trying to oust DeSantis in this year's gubernatorial race. You're going to need a lot of help if you're hoping to accomplish that, because I don't think that there is another more popular, at least more recognizable governor in all of the United States right now. I don't even think it's close. Like, since Cuomo decided to take his ball and go home. Maybe Newsom, but the guy who gets the headlines the most, for good or for bad, for smear or for praise, it's definitely Ron DeSantis. Is there a comparison? Is there a comparison to be out there? So good luck to you. I look forward to that 20, 30 point fucking drubbing you get there, stupid, if you end up being the nominee. And I guess we'll be finding out more nominees as the year goes on. But yeah, anyway, she was asked by WJCT, we know what the J stands for, reporter Melissa Ross for NPR's The Florida Roundup podcast on Friday, about previously calling DeSantis an authoritarian dictator. Yeah, this has been her cause du jour for a while because, hey, looks like Florida man doing good, ergo Florida man Nazi. We can do that because he's a Republican, and that's always the comparison. Literally every single time. But you compare or you make up those stupid campaign posters that make Barack Obama look like the Joker, and you're a racist. But in this one, I don't know, what are you speaking truth to power? Is that her claim on this one? He is doing everything possible to take power away from local governments. Like what? By telling them that they can't flex their power? How's that taking away power? Telling them they can't enforce people to do something? It's almost like he's installing more liberty and freedom for the people of Florida. It's weird. It's weird. It's like she doesn't want to ever describe anything that she's talking about. But whatever. Taking away people's ability to protest. Where is she doing that? Is this is she conflating Ron DeSantis with the United Kingdom's government? Okay, they're both conservatives in name, I guess, but the UK is the place where they're banning protest. Okay, like I don't know what you're really going on here, but all right. Making it harder to vote. Oh, okay, yeah, making those poor, stupid minorities, in your opinion, right? Having to show voter identification, like having to bring their driver's license, having to bring anything that has a picture and their name on it. Yeah, no, that is making it really hard to vote. Every other country around the world can attest to how difficult it is to vote. That's why their turnout is normally higher than that to the United States. But whatever, you do you, lady. You're on NPR, of course, so you have a voice worth hearing, right? Okay, and making it harder to vote, talking about, banning books. Which books? The ones that target the normalization of pedophilia, the ones that have been taken out of multiple other libraries for their obscene content. I'm just saying, I'm just asking, but you're probably the same person who thinks that it's very racist and very inappropriate for there to be N-word Jim in Huckleberry Finn or any of the other classics. No, I'm sure you're definitely not a hypocrite at all. No, couldn't be the case. But according to Freid, that's what dictators do. That's true, but also dictators also take the guns, and you're a big gun control proponent. But hey, I guess it doesn't have to be like a one-to-one comparison, right? You can just be hyperbolic, and maybe she misspoke or something. Maybe her comments were taken out of context, and that's not a fair representation of what Miss Freid. I couldn't imagine she's married to anybody. I couldn't imagine anybody's that dim, but give her the benefit of the doubt here. Let's continue. Instead of listening and trying to govern with the people, have we seen his approval rating lately? It's at least twice as high as Biden's, but okay. He is trying to govern over the people. Oh, okay, cool. And you do it differently, right? Okay, you wouldn't just appeal to the fringe minority of people out there that want masks enforced, that want vaccines enforced, okay? You wouldn't be that person now, would you? Okay, that would be like lording over the people, but whatever. Okay, you have your base on Twitter that you need to pander to, so let's continue. And you know that, I'm sorry, I'm a student of history too. I saw the rise of Hitler. Oh, okay, cool. So, did you go and you take a look at any other other dictators, any other emperors throughout history, and see how they rose to power? No, everybody just stops with big old H down there in Germany in the 40s, I guess in the 30s, okay, and all of the rise that was there, okay, and you see, it's like, what, does Ron like to dabble in paints? Like, is that where you see the comparison going here? Ross stopped Freid and asked her if she was comparing DeSantis to the Nazi leader. In a lot of ways, yes. Well, I don't think DeSantis really failed in any election that he ran for, like Hitler several times beforehand, but she's a student of history after all. What do I know? I have studied Hitler. After she said previously, in a lot of ways, yes, Freid responded. I have studied Hitler and how he got to power, wanting his own militia. Something that Ron DeSantis advocates for all the time. Is that the Chiron that's on like the front of his podium? It's like text 69469 to sign up for Ron's militia. Is that what he's doing? Because I've missed those. But she's down there in the Sunshine State. She probably knows a little bit more. So let's continue. She was referring to DeSantis wanting to relaunch the Florida State Guard. Oh my God, that means that he's trying for a coup now, isn't it? Oh, which would support the Florida National Guard during emergencies. Oh, okay. Okay, a supplemental unit for the National Guard. Yeah, real tyrannical stuff right there. But that's always how it starts, right? Okay, that's exactly what happened with Hitler. I guess, maybe, I don't know, trying to remilitarize Germany? Maybe? Is that your connection? Okay, well, whatever. In December, DeSantis allocated $3.5 million to go towards a force of 200 volunteers, civilian service members. It's not a lot of money, but remember that everything always starts, it just takes a spark to start a fire, I suppose, while 22 states currently have similar state-level military forces. Yeah, how many other little Hitlers are out there too, huh? Should get Nikki on the case here. She seems to be an expert. Which Freid acknowledged. She told Ross DeSantis was creating a Florida State Guard was to make fear, okay? She was so confident with that gem that she dropped on NPR, she just tweeted out the exact same sentiment, I guess, Ron DeSantis and his anti-democratic demagoguery. I like words too. Wow. Is a danger to our state, our country, and yes, the world. When you say like the royal hour, okay, you're referring to Floridians, okay? Who are you actually talking about? Okay, you need to find that. Choose your own historical example if you want, but it's the damn truth. Ooh, she used a quasi-swear. That means she's serious, and she said so on Twitter from her iPhone, so that means she's extra serious, because that's what serious people use, Twitter and iPhones. Absolutely. But the reason why this governor wants it is different than the other states. She's also a mind reader too. So she's running for governor. She knows what our people in Florida want. Okay, it's in triple brackets, which is a little bit weird and don't quite understand what that means. And she purports to know what every other governor's thinking. Maybe she would be the best person for the position. Okay, maybe you should vote Freid in November. This governor is doing it for the sole purpose of power, and doing so to make fear and to instill that, to blame for what's happening in their lives, blaming certain parts of our society and culture. And that's exactly what Hitler did to the Jews during World War II. Let's see how many anti-Republican tweets that she's sent out in just like the past 6 months. You could do that if you want. Spoiler, somebody's a big fan of making an other group, but I guess that's what you do on the campaign trail. I don't know who's advising her to do this strategy, but I guess a bold moves, Cotton. Let's see if it pays off. Do I think that we're going to get to the extent of Hitler's power? Of course not. So why make the comparison? Okay, you have very, very tenuous connections here, so I guess we'll let her continue. Freid later doubled down on her comments despite criticism from the Anti-Defamation League in Florida. While public officials have disagreements over policies, comparisons to the Holocaust and Nazism are inappropriate, offensive, and trivialize the unique tragedy in human history. I guess, cool. So was the most blowback that she's faced for going on a complete fucking rant when it comes to Ron DeSantis being Hitler? Nothing. Oh, she got a mean tweet from the ADL, who are really going to follow up on this, right? Like, also, stopantisemitism.org also tweeted out a statement. Adolf Hitler planned to execute starvation, gassing, and the murder of 6 million Jews. Yeah, well, if given enough time, Ron DeSantis could also accomplish that. But yeah, no, she's gotten, what, denunciations from a bunch of toothless organizations. Cool, but she's still going to be running for governor under the Democratic banner, and she's going to face an absolute shit kicking then. But hey, okay, obviously. But if you make, even from a centrist position, like I don't know who Lara Logan is. I don't really care either, because she used to be a correspondent for 60 Minutes, so that's on CBS. So you got to be at least somebody who pays lip service to that side of the aisle. So at best, I could say centrist, okay? So she made a comparison between Anthony Fauci and Josef Mengele, okay? It's not a comparison that I've made several times, but it's something that I'd hear comparisons on, okay? Let's see what she knows, okay? Because my knowledge of Hitler is not quite as vast as my knowledge of Josef Mengele, so you know what? Okay, perhaps she has something to be going on here. Maybe she has something to contribute to the conversation. Okay, so former 60 Minutes correspondent Lara Logan has been dropped by her talent agency over a recent television interview in which she compared Dr. Anthony Fauci to Nazi Dr. Josef Mengele, a South African-born journalist. Oh, so you're canceling a South African-born lady? Is that racist? Okay. Oh, no, she's the wrong kind of South African. Oh, okay, cool. Made the chilling comparison? It's just like the fucking room temperature takes that you'd find in any comment section of any fucking YouTube video, honestly. During a November 29th appearance on Fox News Primetime, where she discussed the U.S. Top infectious disease expert and White House chief medical advisor, this is what people say to me, is that he doesn't represent science to them. So far, she's on point. He represents Josef Mengele. Okay, so these weren't even her statements, okay? She is just relaying things that people were saying to her, okay? So the headline's a little bit wrong on this one. Just saying here, he represents Josef Mengele, the Nazi doctor who did experiments on Jews during the Second World War and in the concentration camps. So far, she's just factually correct, okay? That's what Mengele did, okay? And also, if you want to have a dangerously based take on things, he advanced, him and his experiments advanced medical research ahead by decades, through his barbaric means. So I don't know, is this like a backhanded compliment to Fauci? But I'm talking about people all across the world are saying this, okay? So these aren't even her statements. She's just once again relaying secondhand information, okay? Because the response from COVID, what it has done to the countries everywhere, what it has done to civil liberties, the suicide rates, the poverty, it has obliterated economies, she said. So far, no lies detected from the... If this was a couple decades ago, that'd be a pretty bad bitch, but she got a weird head, okay? Seth Oster, United Talent Agency's chief communications officer, confirmed to Mediaite Monday that the agency cut ties with Logan several weeks ago, which would coincide with that interview, okay, obviously. A company insider told the outlet that Logan was dropped over her highly offensive and unacceptable comments, once again, just relaying information, okay? Like, why would you... Okay, hand gesture aside, okay, how could you possibly compare somebody who does documented live animal experiments to beagles and rhesus monkeys? How could you possibly make that comparison between somebody who experimented in the 1940s Germany and Poland and other concentration camp locations, and to a guy who's, I don't know, just the most expensive federal employee on the books right now? How could you possibly make those connections? Like, oh my God, it's not like a bunch of people are just dropping off because of tertiary examples like suicide because they don't want to be thrown in gas chambers. Oh, I'm sorry, they can't pay their bills anymore. It's like, you know what, that's a loose association at best, okay? That was irresponsible of you to relay what other people are saying. Weird. The journalist began hosting Lara Logan Has No Agenda on Fox Nation, the network's streaming platform, after parting ways with CBS in 2019. Okay, so I guess she had more, but it is Fox News after all, and they do employ Donna Brazil, so I don't really know. Again, I'm gonna stick with my label of centrist, okay? She was apparently regularly on the network as an unpaid guest, but has not been booked since comparing Fauci to the Nazi war criminal. Now, it's been a kind of a slow news cycle lately, so maybe that's Fox News? I don't know. Meanwhile, no new episodes of her Fox Nation program have aired, and Warm Springs Production, the company that produces her series, has distanced itself from her, the Daily Beast reported, and the Daily News should also be deported, but that's another story for another time. Logan declined to comment to the Daily Beast. Warm Springs Production and Fox News did not respond to a request for comment by the outlet. She acknowledged that it's absolutely true that she has not appeared on Fox News since November. Yeah, I think we can probably go back and check things, but whatever. I do and have a lot of work on Fox News over the last few years, and I've really enjoyed it, actually, because it's been the hosts and the anchors are just, they're really amazing, and they have been so gracious to me, and we respect each other. Yeah, that's what you hear from pretty much everybody who's a regular on Fox News. It's like, yeah, it's really great. And then you ask them about what's your experience with CNN. It's either I have no conversation with CNN, or it was really impersonal, and they just got me in and out and didn't really care for me after that. But you always hear effusive praise for the way that Fox News handles their contributors. I'm just saying. But I would say to you that it's a lot of work, and I'm never paid for that. I was paid for my series on Fox Nation. Unfortunately, like I said, they take good care of you, but when it comes to financial compensation, that's what Logan's relaying there is also a very true recitation of multiple people's accounts. She added, according to the Daily Beast, when asked about her standing with Fox, she said, I really don't know, to be honest, because, I'm not on their payroll. Exactly. Don't be loyal to anybody who doesn't pay you for their time. What the fuck is wrong with you? So I'm not in communication with them. Heckler said it would be really dumb. I don't know who Hecker is, but whatever. He suggests it would be really dumb of Fox Nation not to have Logan back on. Yeah, maybe she's good at her job, but I've never heard of her before. But yeah, she makes one offhanded remark. Well, again, she didn't make the remark. She relayed the information, and she was, at least for the time being, distanced from her show, from her streaming show, from being a contributor on several of the cable news shows that are out there. Okay, and then you have it from the other side of the aisle, where you make a comparison to the big H, okay, of one of the most prominent elected officials that are out there. Somebody who's on a similar footing as Fauci. And what do you get out there? Nothing? A higher profile? Maybe. It's just not fair, goddammit. That's the world that we live in now, isn't it? Let's talk about LA, okay? Because we've done a lot of talk about the little petty crimes that happen in New York City lately, okay, and the downfall that's there, and then that chameleon that became the new mayor of the city. But on the other side, on the left coast, as it likes to be called, there's some degeneracy that's happening. Okay, you know all about the homelessness, but do you know about the crimes? Do you know about the violent crime spike that's been happening out there? We need to put a spotlight on that, and we will do that quite shortly. With that said, thank you all very much for the gift of your time. I've been Don Consuelo. I want you to follow your gut and get after it. Take care, everyone.